Hello, welcome to this week's edition of the Weekly Outlook in the DeFi Dojo. Today is May 4th. May the 4th be with you for all you Star Wars fans. We watched a little bit of Star Wars today just to celebrate. We are Star Wars fans here. My son, not so much yet. I'm hoping he'll grow into it. But nonetheless. So the markets have been nonstop up for quite a while now. When we're talking about equities, we've got two pretty decent sized candles here on the S&P 500 and two pretty decent sized candles here on the Nasdaq. The Dow Jones has given us two candles not nearly as big, and Bitcoin gave us a big doji top looking candle last week. While Bitcoin is the better looking chart out of all of them, I do think that we are going to get some downside this week. Finally, I thought we'd get it last week. We didn't. But I think we will this week to retest the 8 EMA. This is where I said before, this is where I would like to enter. So that is what I will do should it give me the 88K to 90K range to do so. At which point I will hold in hopes of achieving 125 to 130K later on. Now, I still don't really like it. I don't like crypto. I think it is one trap after another this cycle, so I don't want to be too optimistic yet. However, if we retest these regions, I will buy it. I'll be buying it about 15% lower than where I previously sold it up here months ago. So I'll feel pretty good about re-entering there on this cross bullish and retest once again, just like I did back here. And if we get a series of green candles that bring us up to that 125 to 130K mark, I will take my profits and be happy with that and wait some more. I don't know if it will do that. There's quite a bit still showing me that this is bearish. On higher time frames, so I'm still reluctant to really go into crypto full force. However, I will buy Bitcoin. That is the only one I will buy. I do still have my Ethereum, and I was waiting for 1900, and it doesn't look like I'm gonna get it. It looks like the 8 EMA has now crept underneath here, and that's where it is finding resistance. It just touched it last week, right here around 1864. And it was the first time it touched the 8 EMA since back here in February around the 2800 mark. So it makes sense that it's rejecting there the first time touching it after so many weeks of not even coming close. So I'm going to wait and see if we hold this 1788 mark once again. I repeated this from last week, but if we hold 1788, I will still hold on to TP1 and then maybe even TP2. We'll see. I'm not so sure about this one. This one I will take half my bag and sell, and then wait and see if we can get above that. However, if we fall below 1788, even if we close a daily candle below that mark, I didn't want to do that. I will just get out. The daily is bullish. You can see we are holding on to that 8 EMA here, and maybe we wick down to the 21 around 1722. But if we don't hold this area, we're likely going down to 1700 again, and then I don't have a whole lot of confidence in the pivot. So, I don't want to hold on to this back down to the 618, that's for sure. If anything, I'll cut it here, take my profits. I was able to enter way the hell down here, so I still have a lot of room to try to see what this will do. If it does fail, I will try again down around here and here for two more entries to try to get that bounce back up to the trend. Eventually, we will touch that downtrend line again. So that is what I'm aiming for. You see this red line going through. It's been quite a while since we've even been anywhere near it. So I'm thinking once it does try to go test it, we might get a big move up there, and that would be some quick profits. And that's what I'm looking for on Ethereum. When we compare Ethereum against Bitcoin, it did not cover and make up much ground last week after bouncing in the bottom of the golden pocket, but that doesn't mean it can't still. It's just kind of having trouble with the 6-8 here. Once it does get past that, it should make a quick move to the 8 EMA. On the daily, you can see it's not even crossing bullish yet, so it's just staying in between. Staying in between the EMAs. Pivot's right up here. So in order to go bullish on the daily again, it needs to cross these bullish, get above both of these resistances, and then maybe it can make a bigger move. Bitcoin, we covered that already. On the monthly is a little interesting. We might get that move down to the monthly 8 EMA, which sits at 87K. So somewhere between 87 and 90K is what I'm looking for on my entry into Bitcoin. And as long as we hold this 80K mark, really, we can stay bullish. Again, if it falls below those EMAs, I'm just going to get out. I'm not going to try to play with that any longer than that. If we can look at total market cap, it's not yet crossed bullish. However, we do have the move above pivot. So now we have this whole region here to offer support. Also showing kind of a doji top looking candle last week. So it wouldn't surprise me to get a retest back down to this area. And then we'll see if it holds. If we plummet back down through both of these and close a candle anywhere where my cursor is or lower, then this is going to remain bearish, and I fully expect this to head back down towards this trend line. At that point, I will sell my Bitcoin and I will start shorting everything again. It'll be much easier that way. Going long right now, we're still waiting, right? I'm still waiting for those to cross bullish. I'm still waiting for Bitcoin to retest and show that that's going to hold. I'm still waiting for Ethereum to get above 1900. Altcoin market versus Bitcoin still looks like dog ass. Like, this is terrible. So there's no reason for me to even look at altcoins until this shows me some signs of life. Sure, are there some altcoins popping off? Yeah, there are. And you can take those individually with their charts if you want. But I'd rather not. Just me personally, I don't mess with crap. Because it can eat me alive, and I don't want to mess with that. I'd rather mess with something I'm more confident in. There are guys in the server who are doing really well with these AI agents and virtuals, and sure, they've had nice bounces. Like, we can go look at it if you want. Let's see, virtuals. It's one of the better performing ones over the last few weeks. So, but again, it's going to be trading around in between these two levels now. So if you wanted to find an entry on it, then maybe that 146, 147 mark. I think I mentioned that one last week. The EMAs are trying to cross bullish here, so we'll see if it does. If it does, then we'll look for the retest, and bam, I'll take the entry, and we'll try to ride this higher. But even one of the best performing altcoins over the last couple of weeks still isn't yet crossed bullish on the weekly. So what does that say about all the others, right? They're probably not even close. So I'm still being a bit pessimistic, and I'm sorry for that. I like to protect my capital, and that is what I do, number one, beyond all other things. So, looking at the stock market, we have a nice move over pivot, right? And notice that the pivot is right in line with that 8 EMA here, so that's going to be our support this week, right around 55.96. Let's just call it an even 5600. And that would be a great place to maybe try to take some longer term longs in the hopes that this is going to go bullish, right? But let's go look at the previous bear market and see what it did. So here's our current situation. What I want you to notice is if I take this just local trend, we're in the golden pocket. This is where sellers come in. So it's no surprise to me if this tanks back down below, those EMAs don't cross, we fail to pivot. Totally could happen this week. However, we could get a move up to the 786 and then a rejection, and the EMAs still don't cross bullish. If we go look at 2022, that's exactly what happened here. So if we take this downtrend here and do the same thing, you'll see exactly the same pattern that we're seeing now. So we got a big move up, we came very close to the 786, and then we sold off in the golden pocket and went and made new lows. This is how bear markets start. It makes you think that the rally is going to continue to new highs. However, those EMAs told the story, right? We saw that was bearish. I wasn't fooled by this, and then we went lower. So once again, it's the same pattern now. I'm not going to be fooled. Even if we get another green candle this week to come up here and touch that 786, I will absolutely short that. If we just continue blasting higher up to this level, I'm absolutely shorting that, because the first time it touches that, it's going to react, and I'll take at least a day trade out of it. For now, we're in between the EMAs. It's kind of a no trade. If we do continue lower, I might try a quick scalp short back down to the pivot and the 8 EMA here, but that's as much as I will try. And then if we get a candle close back below this week, that'll give me confirmation to short into the next week after that. And I would probably grab that around Friday at close if it's showing me that that's where it is. NASDAQ, same thing. In the golden pocket on the local retracement, shows the same pattern in 2022. So I'm not really too excited until I see something more sustained and getting above. We need to break 21,000 here in order to say, hey, okay, we're going to go make new highs. We're not even close to that right now. Could it happen? Absolutely. I'm not ruling it out. But if we just zoom out here and just look at this whole chart, this is very familiar looking, right? Like you get this huge move down, a nice big rally, and then followed by lower lows. We never touched the trend line yet, so that could absolutely come up here and then come back down and go to a new lower low. Looking at the Dow Jones, I'm thinking this might be a good indication for us since it has not crossed its weekly pivot yet. That's 416 mark for DIA, which is the ETF that trades the Dow Jones. If we close over that this week, then maybe we can have a little more confidence overall in saying, okay, hey, maybe this is turning around. Maybe we can have confidence in new all-time highs shortly. But until then, I want to see what happens in this region here. Because it hasn't quite touched it yet, or the 21 EMA, we might start off this week positive until this touches maybe, and then see a rejection, or maybe we see it continue over and close above. I want to see what happens here when we get there though. Looking at stablecoin dominance on the weekly, this is another indicator that I'm using to give me more confidence in the crypto market overall. And you can see we're still holding the weekly pivot. So this is still bullish. The EMAs are bullish. We are over the pivot. And if stablecoin dominance is bullish, then that means the overall crypto market is therefore bearish. So I want to see this move below 4.93% and close a candle down here on the weekly. That would give me a lot more confidence to long crypto. In the meantime, it's still making me very hesitant. Total, same thing. It's not yet crossed bullish. We are over pivot, but depending on how bad this gets this week, we'll see once we retest these levels down here. NVIDIA is another interesting one. It couldn't quite break over the R1 or the 0.5, and this is the entire retracement. This is from the high to the low. And let me get rid of this one just so you can see. And we fell out of the rising wedge quite a while ago, and since then we've been down. And so that's kind of what's given me the ability to short this numerous times now. It's been my go-to on shorts when I buy puts in the last few weeks. I think we've done it 3 times now. Buying puts, taking profits, waiting, buying puts again, taking profits, waiting, and then we just did it for round 3. So I'll be looking again to see how this opens. I do have a shorter term put for the 9th this week that I bought last week. We'll see how that goes. I'm probably going to take profits tomorrow if we come back down and retest the 8 EMA, which now crossed bullish on the daily for the first time since here. But even bullish crosses on the daily don't offer much, because you can see here we did it and we fell down. You can see here we did it and fell down. So I don't really look to the daily on NVIDIA. I look more to the weekly. And if you look at the weekly, we were able to close a candle over the weekly 8 EMA last week. So that is a good start. We'll see how it goes. Once again, 112 will be the support. That's the weekly 8 EMA. We'll see if it can hold there to begin the week. Everything here is bearish though, so EMAs, MACD, RSI, it's all in bearish territories. So if it is going to make a move up, that trend line is the most I would think it would see in the near term, and then of course we'd have to see if it can break it to try to see if we can go get new highs. I personally think it may have topped out, and I guess time will tell. Okay, so I think that covers all the majors. Thank you for your patience. If you have any questions, chart requests, please drop them in the chat and we will cover them now. Okay, we got a few. Let's see. Amazon. Let's go look at Amazon. That's not Amazon. That's Amazon. Okay, so it looks like it broke its uptrend and it's now coming back for a retest. It did bounce on the 382, so that is a sign of a strong trend. However, that is bearishly divergent on the RSI, So we're making new highs on the price, but lower on the momentum. And if we zoom in here, it wouldn't surprise me to see another push up to this level right here. There's three things here. 198.81, right where the 21 EMA is, the pivot point for the weekly, and the trend line retest that it broke below. So this would be a bearish retest on all accounts around 198. That would be a great place to try for a short, in my opinion. So I will add an alert there. And if we get a ping, I will be sure to let you all know. Oh, it did save it. Right there. Okay. Obviously, if we break that point, then we want to long the retest on top to head for higher. So that's just kind of like the pivot point, right? I want to try a short underneath, and I want to try a long on top. I'm more confident in the short, however, because of the trend break and now retest, and that is where I like to trade things. Google. I do still hold Google, but it's something I don't think I want to sell ever because my average is so good. Okay, well, I mean we got a weekly close over the 8 EMA 2 weeks in a row, so that's a good start. And now we have to contend with the pivot at 175, the 21 EMA around 170. So 170 to 175, that's the area of interest and where we want to see it break. However, like everything else, bearish divergence, this is higher, this is lower, this is lower. Bearish territory. So if we do get that move up there, that would be, to me, an easy short scalp back down with a tight stop loss just above. You could also long here, like here's another way to trade it. You could attempt a long here and then say the 8 EMA is your stop loss, because see how close together they are, and just try to take it to that level and scalp it. Those are also viable plans that you could have. However, when things are bearish, those trades are harder. So that's why I recommend when markets are bearish to wait for the bearish retest to short rather than trying to long to a bearish retest. You're much more inclined to get higher probabilities on your trades when you do things that way. Not that it's impossible to take a long from here to there. It's not. It's just going to be like, it's like tough sledding. You know what I mean? You're fighting the trend, and so it's not impossible. It's doable. It's just going to be a lot harder to come by, and it doesn't always have to get all the way up there. PayPal, freaking PayPal. Been holding PayPal for so long. Okay. So yeah, I'm still holding it. I'm gonna hold it to the death of me. If it breaks the 786, I'll call it a day and just get rid of it. But this looks like a very long accumulation pattern in the golden pocket. We've been holding the 786 for over a year and a half now, so 3 years now. So yeah, I'm still holding it. I think one day it'll pop. Got over the 8 EMA last week, so we likely get at least up to like this area here again. So my average is like right here, so I'm pretty much at break even at the moment. Yeah, I don't want to sell it for a little bit of a loss. And I think we're buying the lows down here for years, so it's one of those like buy and holds for a while and see how we do. And then that $50 mark is going to be the cutoff. BBY. I haven't looked at this one in a long time. It's hard to believe in big box stores anymore. But I mean, it is still technically in an uptrend. It's definitely bearish on the weekly. Just oversold there. Let's see what this looks like. If we go from here to here. Okay. I mean, another 382 bounce. You can see that support here previously. It's not a bad place. Using 53 as your stop loss. If it breaks 53.81 and falls lower, then this needs a whole new set of consolidation for a long time. But as long as it's holding that, it could strongly bounce and go see new all-time highs, technically speaking. Fundamentally speaking, I don't know how long big box stores will survive. I mean, over the years, we've seen them all one by one just get knocked off. So I don't know how anybody can compete with the likes of Amazon and stuff like that, but we'll see. Right now, that's good support, but it's definitely bearish. Sui. I always hear it in a high-pitched voice in my head. Sui. Anybody else get that? Let's go with this one. So, yep, that's what altcoins do. They will break a level and then break back down below, and the weekly EMAs are not yet bullish. So this could just crash down below and give us not a bullish cross. So that is kind of what could happen here. 333 is the resistance, so it might not be a bad short there, right at that mark if you can get it. Oh, wait, there's a pivot. Okay, that's tough. This is kind of your control area, so you do nothing in between here. If we can close a daily candle over 333, then you can attempt long. If we close a daily candle below 318, then we can attempt a short down to the EMAs. Right now, it's kind of in a no trade zone. It does look like a top, but if you take this trend and try to ignore all the other lines, so that 236 will be your saving grace if it's going to bounce. So 319, 320, let's call it. You want to see it hold there and start bouncing higher, and then that will give you confidence that you're going to head higher. If it falls below, then you can look forward to 283, at which point it needs to confirm there and bounce. If it doesn't, then we're heading a lot lower. So 283 must hold. Could get lucky and have 320 hold. Nike. Did I miss anybody? No. Go back to stocks. Nike. There you are. Ew, it fell below. But it's reclaiming. Okay. I mean, I wouldn't sell something down this far below the 8 EMAs. If anything, I would sell on a retest. But I do like Nike long term, so I'm not really just gonna dump it. I think it could come down to 41, and oh yeah, I remember this. If it came down to 41, I would buy some more. And for now, I'm just a holder, deeply underwater. I think I bought it 90 here a long time ago, and here. And so I'm pretty far below my entry here, and I think I'm just gonna hang on. What's this look like? What if I did all the way down to here? It's like buying gold. Yeah, so 38 to 40 would be the area I would look to buy more. Yeah, not much else to say about it but that. AMD. Bearish divergence. Starting to look Y coffee. 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, 5, and then a fall. Similar to this over here, And it might come back down to 47, which is the last cycle's high. None of this stuff looks great, you know what I mean? It just if you notice every chart that I look at, it's like it doesn't look awesome. It's not something I would love to have right now. So 71 might be a good spot to buy some, and then try again down here 34, if it comes to that. But I don't see anything telling me this is just gonna fly higher from here. I mean, it could make some temporary bounces, but nothing long term that looks like I would want to buy it. Intel. Where are you? I don't even have you on here anymore. That's how much. Oh, yes, I do. I'm pretty sure I wrote this off a long time ago. Yeah. So this whole thing looks like a double top. Like, that doesn't look good. There is bullish divergence here, though, on the monthly. If that means anything to anyone. Weekly. Not there, though. Yeah, okay. I mean, it might be worth a flyer at 1750, and that's your stop. But I mean, if it loses that, then you're looking at more than a 50% fall from there almost. So use 1750 as your basis for that trade, and see if you can catch a pop. And I would definitely take profits if we came back up to this 2962 level, and then waited for confirmation to get above to say, okay, maybe we can get something more long term here. Gold re-entry. I don't know. It's one of those, I wish I held a little longer, but I was happy with my gains. I mean, yeah, we got 2 weeks down now, so there's that doji top candle that I was talking about earlier that we're seeing right now with Bitcoin. Not nearly as severe as this, but still a short-term potential indication. So 8 EMA is at 3183. However, I wouldn't buy that this high. There's a trend line here. No, it's not a trend line. That's the 1.618. If I was gonna buy gold again, I would buy it back here at 2800. And even then, that's risky because we're beyond the take profit level. That's where I sold it, by the way. I sold it here, and then it retraced a little bit and then kind of pumped higher. So if I was going to buy it back, that would be the area I would, with a tight stop loss underneath, and I might take a small loss if that's the top. But I personally wouldn't buy it way up here. Not that it can't keep going. I mean, it's definitely bullish. Could head to the 2.272 at some point. So if you are super bullish on gold, then you want to just try to nab it as close to the 8 EMA on the weekly as you possibly can. Currently sitting around 2964. And yeah, I mean, that's really it. I don't ever want to buy anything this high or far away from the EMAs. Netflix. My mouse is really fast. Yeah, she's still going. 1.414 is at 1283. That would be the next main stop. You got the pivot just under it at 1244. And if you're looking for an entry, I would hopefully want a move back down to at least 1042 for that re-entry, and then the 8 EMA and R1 on the weekly are the stops. It's really high, but I mean, if it keeps going, you could see as high as the 1.618, because this is your take profit zone right in here from the 1.272 to the 1.618. So it's still a hold if you're in it, and I would take it to at least 1283. If you're trying to get in it now, you're really late, but you might have some short-term success if you want to try to buy as close to this 1042 mark as possible. Peak. Ugh. All my hopes and dreams were in peak. I'm glad I got out. So it's not good. This is what crypto looks like when it dies. Until it can get back up over the 786, which is at 15.5 cents. This is very bearish and likely will head lower. Microsoft. That's a crazy ass gap up. I mean, it's still in the take profit zone, so until it gets over the 1.618 here at 474, I wouldn't sweat it too much. You could try for it now and hold, hope we hold 429. If we open up under 429 this week, then that wouldn't be great. Let's see where it is now, nighttime. I think I have it in here somewhere. We're currently at 432. So we're still sitting just above that 1.414. So as long as it holds that, sure, you can try long. It likely will kind of hang out there for a while to let the EMAs catch up first. But that would be your stop just underneath that. And then if it does fall down, then 400 your next support. And you can always use the pivots too. Right now it's just in between, so there's not a whole lot of indication for a trade here. If you're a holder, then yeah, I mean, you continue holding until these EMAs cross bearish. It's doing better than the overall market, that's for sure. AVAX. That'll be over here and then up here. Yeah, bearish, needs to get back over $24, and it's still looking like down. This is what most crypto looks like right now and why this chart looks so bad. So if those EMAs cross bearish here on the daily, then that would be a confirmed short entry on the retest of the EMAs. Close the candle over and then close another candle under, so that's not great. You got resistance now at 2044. Which is the weekly 8 EMA. Yeah, that's about all I can say about that one. It has the opposite of what we want to see in a reversal. So you have a move up, and then a golden pocket buy up, and then a return to the golden pocket. So once you see it twice in the golden pocket heading down, making lower highs and lower lows, then it's not a good sign. You don't want to see stuff like that. ZS. What's the ZS? Is that a crypto? Zscaler. Okay, that must be new. What's it do? So it's really hard to chart these when they're so new. All you can really do is throw the 4-hour on and ride the 8 EMA until it breaks. So it's definitely bullish in that regard. That's higher than that, which is dumb. So that's going to be the first take profit level. 1.272 around 232, 233. If you get over that, then maybe we can see the higher exits up here around the 1.618. Hope that helps. I am shopping for shorts mostly. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun, really, when the market's bearish and you can catch a short and make tons of percent in a matter of minutes, because when things go down, they just free fall. I have a much better time, honestly. During bull markets, it's great because you just kind of buy and hold, and it's easy, and every week you're up a couple percent here and there. But bear markets are quick gains, and you get in, you get out. It's a lot of fun. You get that dopamine rush. But we might have a little bit more up to begin the week, maybe, and then maybe we see some falling. All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Charts, nothing else. By the way, the Bitcoin DCA bot beta testing has been doing phenomenal. It's already up over 10% at 4 times leverage. It has a 100% win rate, and back tested over a year has not lost a trade. I don't want to jinx it or anything, but it's a very, very good bot. It has 2 weeks left of beta testing to go, and then it will be open to the public. So if you're interested in that, give me a DM or ask me in the chats. Feel free. And I can tell you more about it. All right, guys, thank you very much. Have a great week, and we'll see if we can find some trades. All right, bye.